Salam Alaikum, Namaskar. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of His Excellency the Ambassador and all staff of the Embassy of the Kingdom of Morocco in Delhi, I have a great honor to welcome everybody to this virtual event celebrating the 21st anniversary of the enthronement of His Majesty Mohammed VI, King of Morocco. Allow me first to unveil the program of this important virtual event celebrating the 21st anniversary of the enthronement of His Majesty Mohammed VI, King of Morocco. The celebration will start with the national anthems of the Republic of India and the Kingdom of Morocco. Then we will be listening to the speech of the chief guest of this event, the Honorable Minister of State for External Affairs and Parliamentary Affairs, Shri V. Muralidharan, who is representing the Government of India. It will be followed by the speech of His Excellency Mohammed Maliki, Ambassador of His Majesty the King of Morocco to the Republic of India. The two speeches will be followed by few selected greeting messages addressed on this occasion to His Majesty the King of Morocco and the Moroccan people by His Excellency Hans Dannenberg Castellanos, Dean of Diplomatic Corps in India and Ambassador of the Dominican Republic. His Excellency Alam Shie Voldemariam, Dean of African Group Heads of Mission in India and Ambassador of Eritrea in India. Professor Dr. Zikrur Rahman, former Ambassador of India to many countries and currently Director, India Islamic Center, New Delhi. Mr. Ratan Tata, the iconic Indian businessman, Chairman Emeritus of Tata Sons and great friend of Morocco, and Mr. Ravi Kanjay Puria, Chairman of RJ Corp. At the end of this virtual event, a short movie will be broadcasted to celebrate this commemoration. This will be followed by a vote of thanks. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor to invite you to join us in paying respect to the national anthems of the Republic of India and the Kingdom of Morocco. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, before giving the floor to our chief guest, I would like to mention that the commemoration of this anniversary is the flagship event of the year for the Embassy of the Kingdom of Morocco in New Delhi and for all the Moroccan diplomatic representations around the world. Throughout the history, the celebration of this important event is always seen as the renewal of the sealed pact and the strong connection existing between the Moroccan kings and the people of Morocco. The Embassy of the Kingdom of Morocco in New Delhi used to celebrate this anniversary with the presence of its Indian friends. but due to COVID-19 pandemic, it has decided to adapt this year's celebration to the current global situation and to reach out its friends through this innovative virtual way. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I am very honored to give the floor to the chief guest of this event, the Honorable Minister of State for External Affairs and Parliamentary Affairs, Shri V. Muralidharan, the Honorable Minister. The floor is yours.
Namaskar. At the outset, I wish to convey my warm greetings and best wishes to the people and government of the Kingdom of Morocco on the 21st Throne Day. On this occasion, I must also congratulate the government of the Kingdom of Morocco for their ongoing efforts to successfully deal with the COVID-19 pandemic. With decisive actions at crucial junctures, both our countries have presented a model of good governance in this difficult phase, prioritizing both lives and livelihoods of our citizens. I also wish to express my gratitude to the Moroccan government for facilitating a special evacuation flight from Morocco to bring back Indian citizens under Vande Bharat mission. India and Morocco are two friendly countries, in fact, two ancient civilizations with deep historical connections. Under the framework of South-South cooperation, which both of our countries believe in, our partnership has blossomed in several significant areas. After the highly successful visit of His Majesty King Mohammed VI to India in 2015 for the India-Africa Forum Summit 3 and his meeting with Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, there has been significant momentum in our bilateral relations. Over the last 4 years, 22 ministerial visits have taken place. Both countries have signed more than 38 agreements and MOUs, including in strategic fields such as counter-terrorism, extradition, and space. Despite the ongoing pandemic, last week, the Honorable Supreme Court of India and Honorable Supreme Judicial Council of Morocco signed an important cooperation agreement to benefit from each other's experience in adoption of technologies to improve our citizens' access to judicial services. Our annual bilateral trade is growing and has crossed $2 billion. So has the footprint of Indian and Moroccan businesses in each other's country. We look forward to further strengthening of our bilateral relations and to work together to build a more balanced international system based on reformed multilateralism. With these words, I once again congratulate the Kingdom of Morocco on its 21st Throne Day. May India-Morocco relations keep growing and scale new heights. Thank you.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to give the floor to His Excellency Mohammed Maliki, Ambassador of His Majesty the King of Morocco to the Republic of India. Excellency, the floor is yours.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear Excellency Mr. V. Muralidharan, Union Minister of State for External Affairs and Parliamentarian Affairs, Government of India, Excellencies and friends of Morocco, dear Moroccans living in India and other countries in the region, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me at the outset to express my deepest appreciation and sincere thanks to His Excellency the Minister of State for External Affairs and Parliamentarian Affairs for accepting graciously to be our chief guests for this event dedicated to the commemoration of the 21st anniversary of the enthronement of His Majesty King Mohammed VI as representative of the government of the Friendly Republic of India, Your participation means a lot to us and reflects indeed the excellent bilateral relations happily existing between our two countries and the will to further consolidate them in the future, a participation which is truly appreciated at its real value. I thank you. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, since the accession of His Majesty, King Mohammed VI, to the throne of his glorious ancestors in 1999, Morocco has celebrated gloriously this event without disruption on 30th July of every year, except for this year because of the pandemic situation worldwide. Indeed, His Majesty decided to postpone the official celebrations and activities in order to preserve lives and avoid the propagation of COVID-19 among the population, who used to celebrate and participate massively to different events organized on this occasion. The Enthronement Day is indeed the flagship event of the year. It is much more than a mere celebration. It underlines the solid bonds between the monarch and the Moroccan people and constitutes an occasion for renewed allegiance from their parts to the king. It is an act which has been carried out continuously for centuries, an act which emphasizes the symbiosis that has always characterized the links between the people and the king, consecrated through the bonds of allegiance. Besides the celebration itself, the event has always been an opportunity to take stock of what was achieved and offers a timely occasion to set the tone for the future with regards to the path that should be followed in many areas for the betterment of the lives of the population and the socio-economic development of the country. The traditional speech of His Majesty on this occasion has always been eagerly awaited in this regard. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the relations between the two old nations, India and Morocco, go back to centuries. It is indeed a matter of pride to recall that the great traveler and diplomat Ibn Battuta reached India through Kerala, your home state, Excellency, in the 14th century and stayed in this lovely country for many years to become one of its dignitaries and even to be appointed later as Qazi, the great judge of India. Then he gained trust to be later designated by the ruler, then with a diplomatic mission to the Emperor of China. That is why I personally consider him as a very unique ambassador at the service of peace between two nations to which he neither belonged to. It was during this time also that trade flourished between these two countries of great civilization, when one of the main roads of spices used to be from Kerala to Marrakesh. In a more recent history, and then since the establishment of their diplomatic relations in 1957, the two countries have worked together in building solid grounds and foundations for their cooperation that would be, despite difficulties at times, strong enough to ensure smooth coordination and create a better understanding and good environment for investment to and from each country. But time would not permit to detail what has been achieved bilaterally so far. However, since the throne day is also an occasion to take stock of what has been done, it is with satisfaction to acknowledge that during the current year, and while building up on the strategic partnership between Morocco and India, decided in 2015 by our two leaders, His Majesty King Mohammed VI and His Excellency Prime Minister Narendra Modi, both our embassies have worked tirelessly to implement the orientations of the important project as it is by setting up its essential foundation and giving it concrete content. Therefore, the reinforcement of the legal framework remains an important part in this exercise as it constitutes the backbone of the bilateral cooperation. In this regard, it is indeed gratifying to note that for the last 3 years only, more than 46 agreements and memorandum of understandings have been concluded between the two parties in various fields and areas of interest, including investment, trade, air services, culture, tourism, defense, education, infrastructure, health, ITCs, to name but these. Even during the current difficult situation of the pandemic, A memorandum of understanding was signed last Friday, that is on the 25th of July, between the Supreme Authority of Justice of Morocco and the Supreme Court of India. This shows that the will of Rabat and New Delhi is stronger than any juncture. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the current pandemic has changed our behavior dramatically, but it also reinforced cooperation to combat it. I would like to seize this occasion to thank the government of India, under the leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister, His Excellency Narendra Modi, for facilitating the purchase of medicines by the government of Morocco. And India also is recognized to have provided to quite a good number of countries, especially from our continent, Africa, assistance in medicines and medical equipment to help them fight the scourge of COVID-19 pandemic. This gesture will undoubtedly enhance solidarity between the two regions and confirm, if need be, the place and role of India as the pharmacy of the world. It is also a great occasion to point out in the same vein that His Majesty took many initiatives towards many countries in the African continent in order to help them overcome these difficulties and difficult times and come out with lesser effects. Indeed, Morocco granted medical equipment for protection mainly to 15 African brotherly and friendly countries. Besides the African Union Commission, most of these products were made in Morocco. It shows that great nations turn challenges into opportunities. Such is the case for both India and Morocco, which tried to rely and to readapt their industrial capacities to reach self-sufficiency in essential equipment to fight the pandemic, instead of keeping importing them while they were getting scarce and more expensive. This is an area of great potential and exchange of experiences, as only strong international cooperation can help get rid of this pandemic quicker and more efficaciously. I also want to see this opportunity to congratulate India for putting a new vaccine on trial few days ago, giving thus hope to the world to find an appropriate vaccine soon, hopefully. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, while congratulating India for being brilliantly elected as a non-permanent member of the UN Security Council for the years 2021-2022, I am pretty confident that this success will help New Delhi to fulfill both its aspirations and those of the European countries. This brilliant election with a very high score reflects also the credibility and the place India enjoys within the international community and its leader role in global issues and in maintaining peace and security within the UN systems. I would like to reiterate the willingness of my country, the Kingdom of Morocco, to work hand in hand with India in order to safeguard the principles of the UN Charter and make our world a better and more just place to live in. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I would not miss this occasion without expressing my sincere thanks and appreciation to His Excellency, the Honorable Minister of External Affairs, Dr. S. J. Shankar, to our Honorable Chief Guest, the Minister of State, and to all the officials of the Ministry of External Affairs, especially at Wana Division, for their continued support and cooperation extended to this embassy and for their strong will to further consolidate the happily existing bilateral relations for the benefit of the people of our two friendly nations. Last but not least, I want to commend Ambassador Shambo's Kamaran for the excellent work he has done, despite his very short tenure in Morocco, to congratulate him for his new assignment in the Philippines and to wish him success. Special thanks go to the Moroccan community living in India and in the other countries of the region for their contribution in bringing closer their country and that of their permanent residents. A big thank you to all my colleagues at the embassy, Moroccans and Indians, for their unconditional support and cooperation despite the difficulties they may encounter, and to all friends of Morocco and India. I miss welcoming all of you personally and physically to commemorate together this event as we used to do in the last few years. But I am confident that thanks to our joint efforts to end this nightmarish pandemic, we will have occasion to celebrate once it is over. I thank you all. Long live Morocco-India friendship.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to give the floor to His Excellency Hans Dannenberg Castellanos, Ambassador of the Dominican Republic and Dean of Diplomatic Corps in India. Excellency, the floor is yours.
Salam alaikum and greetings from the Dominican Republic. To all the friends at the Royal Kingdom of Morocco Embassy in New Delhi, I congratulate you on this special day that we celebrate the 21st enthronement of His Majesty King Mohammed VI, a true leader for Morocco and for the continent of Africa, where he has displayed once more his visionary leadership in battling the COVID-19 pandemic and proposing new ways to battle this issue together with the African brothers. I congratulate also the embassy staff and the ambassadors for that great work that they have done in developing and strengthening the relations between India and Morocco, especially after the visit of His Royal Highness King Morocco VI during the Africa-India conclave. I thank also the whole staff locally and diplomatically for their hard work in also evacuating the Moroccan nationals that were stranded in India after the lockdown and the closing of the borders. Thanks again, and once again, shukran and congratulations for this special day that we are celebrating today virtually, not normally the great party that we have been used to having in Delhi, but we hope that in the future these good relations between the two countries also bring flights from Royal Air Maroc directly to Delhi, and so that Indians can get to know this beautiful country if they haven't been there before. I am one that have visited many times, and I love the country, I love the people, I love the food, and I am missing today having some Moroccan food in India or here in Dominican Republic. Thank you and shukran.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to give the floor to His Excellency Alam Shie Woldemariam, Ambassador of Eritrea in India and Dean of African Group, Heads of Mission in India. Excellency, the floor is yours.
Honorable Chief Guest, His Excellency the Minister of State for External Relations of the Republic of India, His Excellency Ambassador of the Kingdom of Morocco, Excellencies, Ambassadors and High Commissioners present on this platform, diplomats and friends of Morocco, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you all. Let me take this opportunity to convey on behalf of the African Heads of Missions and in my own capacity as the Ambassador of the State of Eritrea, my sincere congratulations and best wishes for health to His Majesty, to the government and the people of the Kingdom of Morocco on the auspicious occasion of the 21st anniversary of enthronement by His Majesty King Mohammed VI. Let me also congratulate Your Excellency personally for hosting this event. As we are all aware, it is not possible to gather physically and celebrate as we used to do on the 30th of July every year, but you still found the way to organize your event online. It is unfortunate that the diplomatic corps in New Delhi has not been able to congratulate you physically because of the coronavirus pandemic, but I am sure that we shall have more occasions to celebrate and interact once the pandemic is over and the situation is back to normal. Chief Guests, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me immense pleasure to see the tremendous progress Morocco has made for the past 64 years after its independence, and especially for the last 21 years of the reign of His Majesty King Mohammed VI. I kept following up the progress since a long time, and it always gives me joy to learn how the country has been progressing. I commend the leadership of His Majesty and the people of Morocco for the choice they have made to focus on rebuilding their country as Moroccans, both socially and economically. Morocco is ranked as one of the best countries for doing business and has also done a tremendous job in fighting corruption and in socio-economic development. On the register of combating COVID-19, I would like to commend both Morocco's response to the current pandemic and the important assistance which Morocco offered to 15 African countries besides the Commission of the African Union to help them combat this devastating pandemic. It reflects indeed the great solidarity of Morocco towards the African countries. As Africans, we are all proud of Morocco's achievement in different fields. Your Excellency, Ambassador, I would like to inform you that we all share the joy of your country's Enthronement Day celebrations. Let me conclude by congratulating once again His Majesty the King, wish more prosperity to the people of Kingdom of Morocco. I also wish Your Excellency a nice stay and a fruitful tenure in India. Thank you very much.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to give the floor to Professor Dr. Zikrur Rahman, former Ambassador of India to many countries and currently Director, India Islamic Center, New Delhi, to share with us few words on this occasion. Excellency, the floor is yours.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. On the joyous occasion of the accession to the throne of the Commander of the Faithful, His Majesty King Mohammed VI, I extend my heartfelt congratulations and best wishes to His Majesty King Mohammed VI and the entire Morocco nation on this joyful occasion. Under the wise leadership and under the wise guidance of His Majesty the King, Morocco has really made strides. I have myself witnessed during the last more than a decade the achievements Morocco has made and the Moroccan nation has made in all fields, be it science, modern sciences, Islamic sciences, cultural side as well as scientific side. The real encouragement Moroccan king gives to the entire nation is a matter of pride, not only for the Moroccan nation, but also to the entire world. We have seen the teachings of moderation that Kingdom of Morocco follows is really a path that other nations must follow. As far as the Islamic sciences is concerned, His Majesty's patronage to the Muslim scholars, to the imams, through the institute, is really a very significant step towards ensuring that the moderation in Islam prevails. I once again wish the Kingdom of Morocco, wish His Majesty King Mohammed VI and his family a long life, a healthy life, as well as progress and prosperity for the nation of the Kingdom of Morocco. Thank you very much.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to give the floor to the iconic Indian businessman and great friend of Morocco, Mr. Ratan Tata, Chairman Emeritus of Tata Sons, to share with us few words on this occasion. Sir, the floor is yours.
On this important day, the 30th of July, the throne day, to commemorate the anniversary of the accession of His Majesty King Mohammed to the throne of the Kingdom of Morocco. I humbly offer my best wishes and my pride in knowing that the Kingdom of Morocco has risen many times over. I wish His Majesty every good wish, every form of success in the future for a glorious advance of the Kingdom of Morocco.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to give the floor to Mr. Ravi Kant Jaipuria, Chairman of RJ Corp, to share with us few words on this occasion. Sir, the floor is yours.
On the occasion of the 21st anniversary of the enthronement of His Majesty Mohammed VI, King Morocco, I would like to congratulate His Majesty and the people of Morocco on this very special and auspicious occasion. The progress and growth of Morocco and its people over the last 2 decades is a living testimony of the great leadership of His Majesty the King Mohammed VI. We are present as a group in Morocco for the last 10 years now, since we made our first investment here, and we are extremely happy and proud of the progress we have made in this great country. As we embark into the next decade, we look forward to enhance our presence in Morocco and contribute to the progress and development of this great nation. Under the leadership and guidance of His Majesty the King Mohammed VI, my most sincere congratulations once again and my best wishes for more success and development to the Kingdom of Morocco on this special occasion. Thank you.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor to invite you to enjoy a short movie prepared especially for this occasion, in which you can see the last developments happened in the Kingdom of Morocco, namely those with regards to fighting the COVID-19 pandemic.
It was during this time of crisis, His Majesty King Mohammed VI saw an opportunity to emerge, to inspire, to uplift, to take on the challenge of protecting the country, and to support his African friends. An insightful vision and unprecedented response to COVID-19 crisis, a response that was based on 5 principles set by His Majesty the King: solidarity, anticipation, prevention, a holistic approach, and prioritizing citizens, especially the most vulnerable ones. As soon as the very first cases were detected in the country, Morocco proclaimed a state of health emergency. His Majesty put an insightful strategy to manage the crisis on the national and international level. His Majesty King Mohammed VI gave his high instructions to the government to create immediately a special fund dedicated to the management of the coronavirus pandemic and to cover the cost of upgrading the medical system. To be effective in crisis management in a pandemic age means being able to use the collected funds strategically. In this sense, and following the instructions of His Majesty, Morocco has channeled the available domestic resources to the COVID-19 Special Fund into 3 main orientations. On the healthcare level, COVID-19 Special Fund will cover the cost of upgrading medical infrastructure and additional means to be acquired in the event of an emergency. On the economical level, the Special Fund will support the national economy and help to cope with the shocks induced by this pandemic, preserve jobs, and mitigate the social repercussions of the pandemic. On the social level, the Special Fund helps provide informal sector workers with a stipend through a recent developed program. Facing COVID-19 pandemic couldn't be controlled without an action plan. A plan that was provided by His Royal Instructions that quickly helps to control the spread of the virus and reducing the number of infections among a nation of more than 35 million citizens. In this sense, His Majesty King Mohammed VI, the Supreme Commander and Chief of General Staff of the Royal Armed Forces, instructs the Royal Armed Forces to contribute in reinforcing the civilian health care and provide the health system with its infrastructure, equipment, and the human resources, and provide the field expertise in the management of natural disasters. His Majesty is managing the crisis with an insightful vision. He leads an unprecedented industrial and scientific revolution. While the world was facing a shortage of masks, Morocco has managed to make a virtue of necessity and has achieved the goal of providing face masks to the entire population and achieving a self-sufficiency in a short time. Not only that, Morocco exports of almost 20 million masks to many countries around the world, labeled Made in Morocco. Thanks to the industrial transformation in which Morocco has engaged and adopted as smart pandemic mechanisms, global industrial platforms in the aviation industry, managed by Moroccan engineers, with a sense of innovation, they produce genuine artificial respiratory machines. A success story written with a royal ink. In its first chapter, Morocco showed resilience by deploying emergency response, developing a set of medical protocols for COVID-19, and equipping hospitals across the country with Moroccan-made medical supplies that Morocco used to import. Today, over 4 months into crisis, Morocco has the lowest fertility rate in the world, and what was imported before the COVID-19 crisis, it has become a national industry. In the middle of the fight against COVID-19, Africa is present in His Majesty plans of action in order to lessen the impact of the pandemic. A pandemic that has created a reflex of selfishness in the world, yet in an act of heart for which His Majesty is accustomed by his legendary magnificence and solidarity with the African people. His Majesty shows solidarity by his pragmatic and action-oriented initiative towards his African friends, as if he is saying, "Your fight is our fight." On the international level, the King has issued a call to his fellow heads of state to develop a continent-wide framework to help vulnerable African countries facing critical challenges in combating the pandemic. After a video meeting with Hassan Ouattara, President of Côte d'Ivoire, and Macky Sall, President of Senegal, he discussed sharing best practices and lessons being learned to lessen the impact of the virus. Morocco has also mobilized national industry to produce personal protective equipment, namely millions of locally produced masks, granted 8 million of masks and medical aid to a number of African countries and to the African Union Commission. The Royal International Action Initiatives to deal with the pandemic are also evident in Morocco's call to the UNA in mid-June. A call inspired by the humanist values and humanitarian principles that receive record support from 117 countries from all region groups, representing nearly 90% of the UN membership. It is indeed a true diplomatic achievement inspired by the humanist values and humanitarian principles that have always guided Moroccan diplomacy under the impetus of His Majesty. In his insightful vision and in the heart of royal ambitious projects of development, youth are always present. In this regard, His Majesty King Mohammed VI presided over the ceremony of presentation of the integrated program to support and finance enterprises. A program touches on 3 main outlines, namely the financing of entrepreneurship, the coordination of support actions for entrepreneurship at the regional level, and the financial inclusion of a rural population. This program includes several measures intended to contain and overcome the difficulties that hinder access to finance for young projects holders and the very small and small enterprises. Mainly in terms of simplification of procedures, facilitations of guarantee conditions, eliminating personal guarantees, and the reduction cost of credit interest rates not more than 2% in urban areas and 1.75% in rural regions. His Majesty, in each opportunity, emphasized on the need to put young people at the center of the new development model and seek to enhance their confidence and give them hope in the future, stressing on the fact that the young people are the country's true wealth. For this purpose, King Mohammed VI has established the Special Commission for Morocco's New Development Model Commission that includes 35 experts with diverse academic and professional backgrounds, working together, adopting a participative approach and outlining the contours of future Morocco. Morocco is already living in the future. It shows brilliant achievements in sustainability and developments. In February the 15th of this year, His Majesty launched a new development strategy for agriculture sector, dubbed Green Generations 2030. A strategy seeks to push 400,000 households into the middle class and the creation of 350,000 jobs. The plan also aims to increase agricultural exports to $6.4 billion and the agricultural gross domestic products to $26.5 billion by 2030. Encouraged by the rapid advances in development research, Morocco believes that guaranteeing water security is a strategical goal. For that, His Majesty King Mohammed VI launched the National Drinking Water Supply and Irrigation Program of 2027, an ambitious program aimed to secure water supply up to 2027, and it is based on the consolidation and diversification of sources of drinking water supply, guarantee water security, and combat the effects of climate change. In this regard, Morocco has inaugurated the largest seawater desalination plant in the Mediterranean and African region in Agadir city. The health crisis will most probably last for the foreseeable future. It is intriguing to think how this will be seen in hindsight from the future. For now, Moroccans can stand tall with their king and his insightful leadership and be energized by the sense of cooperation and support that is evident to date.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all for your attention and cooperation. Before closing this ceremony, it's my real pleasure and honor to invite Mr. Wael bin Abdallah, diplomat from the embassy, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Excellency Mohammed Maliki, Ambassador of His Majesty the King of Morocco, to the Republic of India, and the diplomatic and local staff of the Embassy of the Kingdom of Morocco in New Delhi, I would like to thank all of you for being part of this celebration. Special thanks go to our chief guest, the Honorable Minister of State for External Affairs and Parliamentary Affairs, Shri V. Muralidharan, representing the Government of India during this celebration. To His Excellency Ambassador Hans Denenberg Castellanos, Dean of Diplomatic Corps in India. To His Excellency Ambassador Alim Che Wold Mariam, Dean of the African Group Heads of Missions in India. To Professor Dikrul Rahman, former Ambassador of India to many countries and currently Director, India Islamic Center, New Delhi. To Mr. Ratan Tata, Chairman Emeritus of Tata Sons. To Mr. Ravikant Jaipuria, Chairman of RG Corp. And to all the Indian friends of the Kingdom of Morocco for their kind wishes. Many thanks to the Moroccan community living in India and the region, and to their respective families and entourage for their special wishes on this occasion. Thank you.